Supta Baddha Konasana. All right, Supta Baddha Konasana. And then Ava will be in prone low back Shavasana. So, Melanie, I just learned 2 more people who are having babies this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so 2 more people will be joining. So starting in either prone, prone low back Shavasana or shoulder Shavasana if you have shoulder issues. Prone shoulder Shavasana, which I can show if you need. Or for pregnancy, Supta Baddha Konasana. Ava, prone low back Shavasana. Prone low back Shavasana. Prone means on your stomach. Supine means on your back.
Sure. I thought you said first Supta Baddha Konasana.
Pregnancy.
Okay.
The blanket under the ankles is optional, but it's kind of nice. The support under your head is variable depending on the length of your bolster, depending on the length of your trunk. And also, classically, it doesn't have to be done with a bolster. Classically, we would probably do it with 4 blankets, but it's just more, it just takes more time to set up, and a lot of people don't have that many blankets at home. So a bolster is practical. Now, the alignment in prone low back Shavasana, the tailbone has to angle down. The tailbone has to angle down. And the low back should be broad, completely broad. Even more toward the foot side of a. Even more to the foot side. Tailbone should angle downward. That's better. Yeah, that's better. Now, if despite all that, there's still an arch in the low back, then the 3-fold blanket under the navel, but it looks fine. It looks better now, Ava. I think it's fine. You could do a 3-fold blanket under your navel if you want, but I'm not going to require it. All right. And then Eleni is concentrating on spreading the chest open and releasing the inner thigh to the outer thigh, descending the shoulders. So it's actually week 5 of our 5-week cycle. It's our restorative and pranayama week. So because this is only an hour-long class, we may or may not get to pranayama, but we're moving toward it. And all the poses today will be supported poses. So first, take a few minutes to settle into your initial pose. So the initial pose, from a therapeutic perspective, is to start with a quiet mind. It's to establish the quiet mind, quiet senses. to begin to turn the attention inward, to transition from the busyness of the day to the samyama, the dharana, dhyana, samadhi, concentration, meditation, absorption of the yoga practice. So it just takes some time. It just takes a few minutes. And you can even, when you're practicing on your own, you can even take even longer than 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, as long as you want, as long as you need to really settle in, settle down. Especially week 5, when we are working more with the subtle body, when we're working more with the more inward attention, then it takes time. So for now, we will move on, but just remember that you can always come back to this pose. You can always come back to Shavasana and take a longer Shavasana if you need to. Okay? So Abba, you'll roll to your side. Elodie, you'll press your hands into the floor and sit up. And then you'll need 2 chairs, or a chair and a bench, or a chair and a bed, or a chair and a table. But you'll need something like that, okay? For Pavan. So here's one way to set up. A blanket goes here. The bolster goes here. Now, Elodie, you need to make sure that the bolster is not under your abdomen, okay? But the bolster can be under the abdomen, and then a blanket here. Now, if you have a long trunk or a short bolster, you might need an extender like that. But here is the basic setup. Now, like I said, you could use a bench, you could use a table, you could use a bed, you could use a couch. Okay, but this is the basic setup for Pavan Uttanasana. Pavan Uttanasana means, Mukta means freedom. Pavana means wind. And so it's wind liberation pose. Okay. So now.
What do you do if your bolster's not even with the surfaces, like the bed's higher than the chair?
Say it again.
What do you do if the bed's higher than the chair so that the bolster's angled?
Put a little more height on the chair.
Okay.
A blanket on the chair. And it's okay if it's a little angled. Now, the height of the bolster is going to depend on you. So I'm sitting on top of the blanket so that my hips are a little higher than my knees, you see? And then from here, I come forward onto the bolster. Now, for Elodie, to make sure that the abdomen is not being okay? For Elodie. And for the rest of us, we can have, see, I can have the bolster on both chairs, you see? My blanket probably doesn't idea. Okay. So that's Pavan Uttanasana. Ava, get another blanket. Get another blanket. And then roll it up. Roll it up like this. So, Sarvangasana fold. Have Sarvangasana fold, okay? Let me see Sarvangasana fold. Sarvangasana fold. Fold it, no, not for you, Eleni. This is not for you. You go ahead and go into the pose, Eleni. This is for Abba. Okay. Fold it one more time. Well, okay, that's Sarvangasana fold, okay? Hold the wide end. Hold the wide end. Roll it. Place it at the top of your thighs. Okay? Push down onto the roll. Lift up and over, and then come forward.
It's okay for the stomach to land on this?
No, I said no.
Oh.
No, watch me again, Eleni. So you're gonna need a gap, Eleni. Abba does not, but you're gonna need a gap. And then just the chest on the bolster. Yeah, don't put any pressure on your abdomen. Push the bolster onto the bed more. Yeah, just the chest. Okay, forehead on your forearms. Forehead on your forearms. Unless there's pain. Unless you have a shoulder injury. Okay, buttocks down. Buttocks down. Yes. Okay, so this is actually a really great pose for spinal health. Really good for headaches. Really good for neck and shoulder pain. Really good for digestive issues. Really important pose. And what's nice about this pose from a teacher's perspective, you get a really good view of the spine. You get a really good view of the back ribs. And so you can see if there's some asymmetry, any scoliosis. You can see if there's any tightness or pulling. You can also feel when you're doing this pose or when you're observing somebody doing this pose. You can also see if there's any places that are particularly hot, warm to the touch, some places that are more cool. Another thing that's nice, I'm not there in person to assist you, but another thing that's nice is sometimes the teacher will come and give a little pull on the skull. And that can be really, really soothing for headache, to lengthen the occiput. So this is from BCNC, to lengthen the occiput away from the spine, away from the neck like this. That can feel really good. Also, sometimes what we do, Lucia, is with the head turn, then give a little pressure on the side of the head. And that can be really nice for headaches, brain injury, concussion. Those are some of the uses that we, some of the situations in which we use this pose a lot. But primarily for low back issues. That's kind of like the number one reason to do this pose. Also, you could, if you were at the studio, you could traction yourself. You could traction the hips from the rope wall so that there's some traction, pulling back of the hips away from the trunk. Or a teacher could come and take a rope or a strap and give a little pull at the top of the thighs at the hip crease to help the spine, the trunk, to elongate and to help the groins to soften and deepen. So those are some very frequent adjustments that you will see in this pose that help deepen the benefit of the pose. The arms can be in a variety of positions, but this is sort of maybe the easiest is to have the forehead on the forearms. But if there's a shoulder injury, you can have the arms in a different position. Like it's common to take the arms very wide. Sometimes we just let the arms hang. So those are all options. Right now, we're doing this pose to help to quiet the brain. Quiet the brain. Lengthen the forehead skin from the hairline toward the eyebrows. Widen between the eyebrows. And I can't see your feet very well, but the knees a little wider than hip width and the feet under the knees. Now it's common if the pain is coming from a pelvic issue. It's common for the hips to be a little crooked here, or for there to be some sensation or pain in the groins, in which case the traction would really help. And also you could try you could try varying the width of the knees and the angle of the feet. Sometimes it helps to let the feet turn out a little bit. But classically, the feet would go more or less pointing forward. Okay. There are two more variations of this pose that we're not going to do necessarily today, but just to plan to see if you could Parshva Uttanasana, which means angling to the side, 45 degrees to the right, 45 degrees to the left, and Parivrtta Uttanasana, which involves turning the trunk, spiraling on the axis of the spine, which we won't do today, but maybe another time. So come on up. So now for you, Elodie, you'll take Prasarita Uttanasana. You could use the bed just like that, and then take your legs. So this is Elodie. I was going to do a different pose, and then come forward in Prasarita Uttanasana. Now, Ava, you're going to take Chaturanga. So with one chair, a sticky mat, four-fold sticky mat. And maybe a blanket. The blanket is not absolutely necessary, but it's kind of nice. All right. The sticky mat might be a little too thick. Do you have a thinner one? The thicker ones are okay for standing poses, but they don't fold very well. Yeah, the thicker ones are sometimes too bulky. All right, so now I'm coming into the chair with my trunk until my thighs, until my hip crease is on the chair, and then I can, my knees are dangling, they're not touching the floor. My knees are dangling. And actually, it's nice if you have a second chair. It's not absolutely necessary, but it's kind of nice if you have a second chair. So I can come through, and then I can rest my head on this chair. So this is called Chaturanga. Let me watch. Let's see, Eleni, maybe bring a little bit more of your chest onto the bolster. Yeah, just so long as your uterus is not pressing. Uh-huh. Okay, and then rest your forehead, Ava, so that the nervous system can be quiet. Uh-huh. And the knees are hanging, right? Okay. Yeah, just let the knees hang. All right, so this pose, I find that when I have back pain, this pose gives me immediate relief. And I just want to stay forever. Because why? What is it doing? It's bringing everything level. It's bringing everything to the same height. So if there's ever any kind of twist or torque or pull, then this immediately brings quietness. We've talked about how when the abdomen is supported, then the nervous system is quieted. And maybe you've heard the term the abdominal brain. So we have so much nerve tissue in the abdominal region. And so the abdomen is always communicating so much to us. So when we are able to apply a little pressure on that region, it helps to quiet the brain, bring spaciousness and elongation to the spine. It can be very soothing. Like sometimes, have you ever put a hot water bottle on your abdomen if you have like a stomach ache or cramps? It can be very soothing. So this has the same effect. And then the knees just dangling slightly above the floor. You might notice that one knee is closer to the floor than the other, which is quite common, and coming from slight torque in the pelvis. So here, as you stay in this pose, you just allow everything to kind of level off. Eleni, if you get tired, you can come into Arda Uttanasana. So, with the height, of course.
Legs hip width apart?
Yes, or wider, hip width or wider. Yeah, that's good, Eleni. Push the bolster forward a little bit so that the armpit chest can elongate. Yes. Tops of the thighs back. Okay. Inhale. Come on up. And so now have a chair and a bolster. Okay? Chair and a bolster. join us. Arda Uttanasana. So I'm sitting, so sit with your right shoulder toward the back of the chair. Sit sideways, facing me, with your right shoulder toward the back of the chair. The bolster is the long way, you see? The purpose of the bolster is to get the hips higher than the knees. Okay, now back of the chair toward your right side. All right. Okay, ready? Sitting up tall. Lean forward a little bit and move the buttock push back. Plant your feet down under the knees. Actually, I forgot. Can you get a block? Because the block helps to establish the work of the legs. It helps to keep the hips square. All right? So now bring your outer knees forward. Hold the block firmly. And then from here, bring your hands behind you, lift the chest up. Inhale, exhale, turn and face the back of the chair. Hold the sides of the chair. Inhale, extend up to the crown of the head. Exhale, bring the right outer knee forward in order to stabilize the hips. And then inhale, push down again. Exhale, lift up to the trunk. And on each exhale, turn the chest further and further to the right, widening the back ribs, widening the back ribs. And then release, come back to center. Okay, Misha, you're on.
All right, so I'm doing the right leg, right? You just did the left leg?
Well, see, this is what I figured out. Since you're a participant in the class, you're on the same side as them. So you'll be doing on your left side, everybody will be doing, you'll be doing on your left side, everybody will be doing on the left side.
All right, so second side. Hug the brick between, excuse me. Hug the brick between your knees. Levelize the knees so you can levelize the hips. Levelize the shins, the ankles. Root through both of your feet. Spread the toes. When you take an inhalation, draw the arms up. Inhale. Exhale, reach towards the backrest of your chair and bow the elbows out to the side. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, twist. Revolve from the base of the spine, the mid-back, the upper back. Relax the shoulders down into the shoulder girdles. Spread the collarbones, lift the chest. Take another few breaths here. As you take an exhalation, root through your feet, unwind, come back forward. Thank you.
Let's do that one more time. So with the chair, the back of the chair on your right side. The back of the chair is on your right side. Okay? Holding the block between the knees. See that the feet are directly underneath the knees? And that the pressure of the block, the knees are pressing into the block. keep the buttock pressing move back. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Arda Uttanasana to your right. So holding the back of the chair. Inhale, extend up to the trunk. Exhale, bring your right outer knee forward. Right outer knee forward in order to keep the hips square. Inhale, lift up again. And exhale, move the navel to the spine and turn the chest to the left. Inhale, lift the chest up. And exhale, turn the back ribs from right to left. And then come back to center. Okay? Please here one more time.
So, taking a seat in the chair, bring the brick to the skinny side, draw the knees in. On an inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, draw the arms up. As you exhale, reach for the back rest of the chair. Keep the right knee reaching forward. Draw the back ribs on the left side to the right. Lift, stay tall through the torso. Inhale, exhale, unwind, and release the pose.
All right, come on out and let's do a couple of seated poses, okay? So have a mat, a bolster, a chair, and a blanket. A mat, a bolster, a chair, and a blanket. So the mat open. The chair to the side. The bolster on the mat. Okay. And then the blanket on the seat of the chair. Dandasana. Elevate feet apart. Everybody feet apart. Dandasana. Move the buttock flesh back. To the palm. Extend through the heels. One of the best parts of Zoom is getting to look at people's feet on the screen. We don't usually get to see feet on screens, right? It's not like a thing. Usually you just get to see people's faces. But in yoga, we get to see each other's feet. All right, so from here, bend your right leg to the side for Untitled Chapter. Okay, so the knee going out to the side, but turn the pelvis to face the straight leg. Turn the pelvis to face the Dandasana leg. All right, lengthen to the inner thigh, but pin the outer thigh into the hip socket. Bring the chair in front. Look where the chair is. Look at the placement of the chair. Yes. Okay. Then from here, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. As you pin the right outer thigh in, extend longer, get taller through the trunk. And exhale, start to come forward. Yeah, and then you'll stay the front of your back, all right? And then you can bring your hands to the chair. If pull the chair in as close as you need to, so that there's no strain. No pain, no strain. Okay, and Elodie, to make sure that there's plenty of space for the uterus. Inhale, lengthen through the sides of the trunk. And then exhale, come forward. Maybe bring your head down. Yeah, Elodie, you might need to fold the blanket a little higher. Maybe you'd like to have the forehead and the forearm. Fold your blanket one more time, Alva. Fold your blanket higher. Fold it. Fold your blanket. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to stay up so I can watch you. You put your head down. All right. So from here, pull the right outer thigh in. Reach through the left inner heel. Lengthen equally through both sides of the trunk. Turn the abdomen and the chest to the left. Broaden across the elbows, broaden across the shoulders. Rest the head. Keep elongating to the back of the Dandasana leg and to the inner right thigh. Keep lengthening to the sides of the trunk. Releasing the brain. And spread your across the shoulders. Inhale, come on up. Extend both legs straight.
Okay, so come back to Dandasana on your bolster. Anchor the feet, spread the toes. Keep the right leg extended now, and then bend the left knee. Reach the hands forward onto the seat of the chair. On your inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reach the arms up. Grow long through the ribs. As you exhale, reach forward. If you can, relax the head down. Keep pinning the hip, the femur into the hip socket. Continue to breathe into the back of the body. On an inhalation, lift the head and journey back into Dandasana. Straighten both legs. Thank you.
Reach the Uttanasana. And then take the chair to your right side. Press your hands into the bolster. Draw the outer thighs into the hip sockets and reach through the inner heel. So firm attachment of the legs into the hip sockets and then long extension of the backs of the legs out into the heels so that the legs are straight. Inhale, Urdhva. Exhale, rotate to your right. Turn to your right. Turn your navel and your chest to the right. Reach up more and more through the arms. And extending more through your left arm. Come forward under the chair, hold the chair. Chest up, push down with your hands into the chair and lift the chest up. Anchor with your left outer thigh down. And turn the chest toward the chair more and more. Keep lengthening through the sides of the waist, sides of the chest. And then bring your head down. See that there's no compression in the abdomen, but that the trunk is turning. Keep pinning the left outer thigh into the hip socket. Keep lengthening outward to the inner heel. Inhale, lengthen to the trunk. Exhale, turn the navel more and more to the right. The navel to the right. Spread across the back ribs. And release your head. Keep revisiting all those actions. Left outer thigh in. Turning the abdomen to the right. Spread across the back ribs. And then inhale, come on up. Bring your chair back to center. Okay, thank you.
Keep the legs active in Uttanasana. And we're going to take the chair to the opposite leg, the second leg, and then begin to revolve the torso to the second leg, and then bring the back of the spine, revolve the back of the spine forward as you inhale. So I'm sorry. Start from the beginning again. Come back through center. Anchor the heels. Inhale the arms up, Urdhva Uttanasana. As you exhale, twist towards the second leg. Place the hands on the seat rest of the chair. Bring the back ribs forward, and as you exhale, rest the head on the chair. Harsva Uttanasana. Both knees are facing the ceiling, toes facing the ceiling. Relax the head. On an inhalation, lift the head. Organize yourself back through center. Uttanasana.
And then Arda Uttanasana, let's see. So yeah, Abba, you could take Arda Uttanasana. Eleni, you can take Supta Konasana. Okay, so Arda Uttanasana, what I suggest is 2 chairs again. And then setting up your blankets. And then the second chair. Oh, yeah, I guess you just need 1 chair. Elodie, you can use 2 chairs or the bed. You can use the bed, Elodie. And then the bolster, I suggest putting the bolster like this, the long way. And look how the bolster is sticking out over the chair. So Elodie, you can take your feet up on the bed.
Am I just laying on my back with my feet on the bed?
No.
Okay.
Shoulders down. Okay, so Baba can do it this way. And then Ellie will have the feet supported on the bed or on 2 chairs. Good. Opening out. And make sure you have enough support. Have your neck on the blankets. Neck on the blankets. Uh-huh. And then when you're ready, up and over. Now, Eleni, you can have a chair to put your feet on, to raise your hips up. Yes, like that. Uh-huh. Get your thighs on the bolster. Thighs on the bolster. Root of the thigh on the bolster. You got to come way up onto the tops of the shoulders. So the hips are behind the shoulders. Can you get the hips over the shoulders, Ava? Get the hips to come further. Extend your arms behind you. Ava, interlock your fingers behind. No, that's forward, behind. That's front, that's behind, back, yeah. Interlock your fingers behind. Now walk your shoulders back toward your hands. Get way up into the tops of the shoulders, yes. Okay, now you can relax your hands. Or have your hands in any position you wish. Now pull the chair in, Eleni. Pull the chair in and lift your hips. And lift your hips. Yes, that's right. Way up into the tops of your shoulders, and then one leg over, then the other leg over. The chair is only to assist you in getting there. Once you're there, then you don't need it. Curl your toes under. Take your feet wider if you can. Curl your toes under so that you can lift your thighs more. Yes. Good, Eleni. Yes. That's nice. That's a good setup. Yeah. All right. So now be here for a few minutes. There should be no strain in this pose. You should feel really good. If there's any strain whatsoever, you can use more height next time under the shoulders or more height under the thighs. And now recreate the same brain state that we were going after in the seated forward bends. Have a feeling of the front brain receding toward the back brain and the forehead skin widening, the temple skin softening and releasing toward the floor. Soften the jaw, release the hinge of the jaw toward the floor. Sink your eyes toward the back of the skull. A feeling of quietness and release. Through the head and neck region. Still lifting to the trunk. So now to rely on your support completely, but still there's a lift through the trunk, a broadness across the back, and a broadness across the back of the thighs, from the inside out. Take 3 more breaths here, and then you can roll out. Now, Shavasana. What I suggest for Eleni is Shavasana with a bolster and a blanket, and then a roll blanket under the knees. What I suggest for Ava is flat on your back with your calves on the chair. Okay, so this is the Eleni setup, and then Ava will be flat on your back with your calves on the chair. Okay? Just for a few minutes of breath work. So this is Eleni. Have your entire, maybe push the chair away a few inches on them so that your knees are, so that the groins can be softer. Push the chair away a few inches. Okay, so now in Shavasana, on each exhale, release the abdomen to the back body. Release the abdomen backward. And start to elongate the exhale just a little bit. Just stretch out, attenuate the exhales a little bit at a time. Normal inhales, and then slow. And as you exhale, feel the back body relax. Feel the back body spread. On the exhales, feel the back of the skull widen. The pit of the throat deepen. See if you can make the exhales twice as long as the inhale. Not by force. And follow the exhales with your mind, with your brain. So that the brain, it's as if the brain is also exhaling. And as the brain is exhaling, it's draining itself of thought activity, emptying out the front brain to the back. Now, I'm going to officially end, but you can stay with this for a few more minutes if you wish. And then come out whenever you're ready, but you can stay. Okay? So wonderful to see you all. Thanks for being here. And see you next time.